potential more musicians that come in through Achieved, are you open to potentially scouting for new guys to add to your label?
That is definitely what I want to do. And I'm definitely looking for female artists as well as male artists, as I've been talking a lot about male artists. I'm definitely looking to work with probably with some R&B girl singers, girl rappers too, definitely.
Hey, I'm Mitchell Gunner. I'm the owner and founder of Achieve Music. I'm currently here with Mathew Garufi, aka Garufi Music Group. He's one of our producers in Petersham, and he has racked up a number of successes, including 13,000 followers on Instagram and plenty of producing history that we'll get into. How are you, Mathew?
Good, thank you, Mitchell. How are you tonight?
I'm great. It's a pleasure to have you on, and it's a pleasure.
Fantastic, thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you as one of our producers on the website. So let's get into it.
Thank you very much. Pleasure being here.
I'd like to know a bit about your music background. So let's get to the basics. What got you into music?
Well, it all started pretty much from birth, mate. My father was a musician. So I was a little baby and I was listening to my father play music around the house. He was actually a jazz accordion player, and he actually taught me the ropes of piano, and basically seeing him play live music since I was little, mate, I got into that myself. And having a half sister being a big singer as well around the clubs in Sydney, and she actually travels interstate as well. And seeing music as a whole in my family, and just loving it since I was little. I had to get into it, mate, and I couldn't turn back. And I've done a lot since then, and here I am, mate, talking to you. So it's been a big history.
That's great. So starting with jazz, was that your first love?
It was, and it still is. I love listening to it, mate. I'll never lose my love for jazz, but my life's taken a turn a bit production-wise with R&B, hip-hop and stuff, but I'll always love listening to jazz, mate. I listen to jazz all the time. Like, I'll be, on a train listening to smooth jazz, which I also do as well, with different artists. Earlier this year, I actually got to work with quite a big smooth jazz artist, actually, Bob Baldwin. I got to do talkbox on that. The song's called Rejuvenate, and it's on Bob Baldwin's newest album, Be Positive, if anyone wants to check that out. I'm on the song Rejuvenate with talkboxing on there. So yeah, I love creating it, I love featuring in it, and that's basically my artist side, where it's different to my production side. So
yeah. That's great. So we'll get into your production side. So obviously starting with music, listening to jazz, transitioning into R&B and hip hop. So let's get in, like, what started you into producing and production, and how long have you been doing it?
Well, that's a great question, because 100% I probably would have started doing that through school, getting introduced to hip hop and R&B through school, everyone loving it, and like people around me loving hip hop as well, and growing up around rappers and all that type of stuff. I still have my love for jazz, but then I started having a love for the urban sound, and especially my hip hop production, and listening to Dr. Dre and Timbaland and all of them, and getting into that and just loving it and emulating what they do in my own way, where I sort of, in my early production, I probably had more of a jazz feel to my urban, but yeah, it's quite of a change that's happened, really, because I don't really have the jazz influence in my R&B hip hop anymore, really. So I've sort of, because I am an artist more with the smooth jazz type of music, I sort of like to separate them a bit and have them different. So yeah, I do like doing that. But yeah, my love for hip hop started when I was little, really. And yeah, when I probably started going to primary school, I started loving R&B hip hop.
Yeah, so much music, and obviously with the production history, you have had a lot of success, and you talk about obviously the success in the early days you had with Sydney musician Selwyn. So let's get into
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, well, no, I'm actually really lucky with that because I was actually a fan of his when I was young in the early 2000s, and hearing the Buggin' Me track and Rich Girl, and I loved that track, and I always listened to it till now. And a few years ago, I just was like, you know what, let me try to hit him up, see what he's doing. And I did, because I'm confident with my production, and I'm like, let me try hit him up. And from there, we pretty much hit it off. And now we've done quite a few tracks together. And yeah, just seeing where this music journey takes us, really. But yeah, we've done a few things. He was actually on Kyle and Jackie O last week.
Yeah.
Which was a pretty big thing for him and myself. Being his producer, I've also become his manager as well. So yeah, so a few things going on there. So yeah, not going to say too much yet, but things are in the works. And,
that's absolutely incredible.
See where this goes.
Yeah. For those that aren't aware, Selwyn, you absolutely need to check him out. Over 2 million listens on some of his songs. Rich Girl, like you're talking about. Absolutely.
Phenomenal artist, man. I'm very lucky to work with him. Definitely. Yeah. Phenomenal artist.
And that just shows some of your professionalism. So we get into that. So you've worked with him for a while. And now he obviously enjoys coming back to you. So that just shows how good a producer. So you said you reached out to him. Yeah, back.
Yeah, well, I was very happy to do that. And yeah, I'm very happy to have him part of my own record label, which I pretty much just started, and he's part of that, which I'm really happy about. And the first big thing with that, as I said last week, on Carl and Jackie O, and yeah, so yeah, just going to see where it takes us basically, and go from there.
That's really cool. So you talk about a record label. Let's go into that a little bit too. So is this with artists you record with, and how many you got?
Yeah, I first of all, the first artist, as I did say, is Selwyn on it with me. There's no proper set in stone things happening with it yet, but got to start small, and yeah, we're just going to take where this goes together and go from there. I have started working with a rapper from Melbourne as well, Neek. He's really, really good too.
Yes.
And I spoke to him as well, and he's willing to maybe talk to me about this as we go along as well. Him and I have worked on quite a few things also. He's a really, really talented rapper from Melbourne. And I don't know if you've ever heard of the singer Christian Alexander. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
I would have to look it up. I'm not very good with names.
Okay, he's actually done really well as well. He's done songs with Ja Rule. He actually did a song with Ja Rule in the rapper. You probably know of him, with Murder.
Yeah, absolutely.
He did a song with him quite a few years ago as well. That's pretty good, and he's done quite a few big things as well. And he's starting to get back into the scene as well. And him and I have started doing a few things, and yeah, just trying to build a bit of a foundation for hopefully a bit of a roster in my future, working with these people. So yeah, just trying to see where it goes, man, and go from there.
And with all these recordings that you do for these artists, is a lot of it done in your home studio that you're sitting in right now?
Selwyn does come here from time to time, yes. We do it remotely a bit of the time, because he actually lives in the far south now, in the Wollongong area, so we do it quite remotely. I'm near the city, so it's not always easy for him to get here, but we work really well remotely. And my other artists, Christian Alexander, who I've started working with, he lives in Perth, so we've had to be remotely. And Neek, the rapper, is in Melbourne, so we've also done remotely. But yeah, the only one that I've been working with recently, Selwyn, is the one in Wollongong, obviously. Him and I have done a few things remotely, but also in person. So we're working on something to hopefully do that more often in person, but stay tuned.
Well, being a Sydney producer, working with big names like Selwyn and Neek, having that space there ready to record, are you open to having more musicians that come in through Achieved are you open to potentially scouting for new guys to add to your label?
That is definitely what I want to do, and I'm definitely looking for female artists as well as male artists, as I've been talking a lot about male artists. I'm definitely looking to work with some R&B girl singers, girl rappers too, definitely, as I want to expand this. Starting off as GMG as a label, I definitely want to expand that, and I'm definitely up to expanding my roster, definitely.
Well, that's great. That would give a bit of a push to some of our young artists that are coming through, because I'm sure they all want to take the next step, and a lot of it is obviously getting in, recording their music, and then carry on and continuing to record and release. And under your guidance, I'm sure it could be very helpful to a lot of upcoming, especially like you're saying.
I think I'd be helpful to a lot of young artists, because I've done music since I was pretty much a baby.
Yeah.
I've worked with a lot of these people now, and I think I could guide them as most as I can. And if I do have these other artists around me, they could probably help me with that as well. And I'm definitely wanting GMG to be a label which has a bigger backing, and I won't go too much into what's coming, I hope, but let's see. But I'm definitely looking to work with a lot of different people, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what comes in the future. It's going to be exciting.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, and
hopefully.
So let's talk through. So just for people that already have their music ready, they're keen to get in the studio, but let's talk through a production-wise, how you normally work with people. Like, say someone comes in, they've got a sort of idea. Do you enjoy working with songwriting and building it from there?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely enjoy songwriting and starting from scratch. As I do a lot of beat making too, if I have some beats that I think would suit the artist, I would show them all the beats I've created. And I would be like, are you feeling any of these? Do you want to maybe write something to this? If not, all right, let's make something together. Get my machine drum loop thing right here. It's like a Akai right here. I'll get that ready. I would get my keyboards ready and create a whole heap of different beats with them. Any types of styles too. I wouldn't say I jack type of styles like a Pharrell or a Timbaland, but I can go off what they want to sort of sound like. If they want that type of thing, I can create it for them, or I can even go into my jazz roots and make something like that for them. So I'm cool to do whatever. And I'm definitely open to working with all different types of people. Definitely.
That's great. That's exciting. So let's go through your little studio you have there at your home, and
for sure,
a little walkthrough. What have you got there?
Let's do it. So one of my big boys right here. I'll put my light on one moment. One of my big boys, my big keyboard here called Kronos, very known to a lot of keyboard players. The other one here, King Korg, it's got a lot of awesome bass synths right here. I love that keyboard, really good. Now, one of the main sounds I play, I don't know if a lot of people in Australia know it, but I play talkbox. Hello, everybody, baby. Ooh, baby. It's a very, very, very unique sound that a lot of people don't usually listen to in Australia, but a lot of hip-hop fans would know it from California Love by Tupac. Also, 24 Karat Magic, I'm sure they know this. Tonight, I just want to take you higher. I'm sure they know that, which is Bruno Mars's hit. Funnily enough, I'm pretty good with the people that play talkbox around the world. I actually know the guy that did that for Bruno Mars, Mr. Talkbox. Shout out to you, brother, because I'll be putting this on my Instagram. I'm pretty good with him. There's also a few other people that I've gotten to know in the talkboxing industry. The guy that actually made my talkbox Fingers. I've actually built a little relationship with him too. So yeah, I'm pretty cool with them as well as also doing my production. So as I'm also a performer, I'm in a band playing talkbox and doing keyboard as well. Shout out to my boy Ben and Mariana of Sound Nation. Shout out to you guys as well. And yeah, so yeah, man, that's basically around my studio. And I've got I can show you my microphone actually, SE Electronics. And my pop filter right here. So yeah. And I also do a bit of DJ. I didn't show you that as well. So I've got a record box and yeah, of my scratching and doing all that. I did actually used to DJ when I was young as well. So yeah, sort of wanted to get back into that also, which is why I bought that. Yeah.
Great microphone, plenty of keyboards for either your beat making, I'm sure you use it for that, or putting a variety of sounds together for musicians that play, or I'm sure you would be able to help them and make that nice tone or nice tune.
Of course, definitely. I can do all types of sounds people want. In my R&B genre, hip hop genre, a lot of rappers love doing, beats from scratch. Excuse me. So yeah, I'm open to everything and few things coming up, and I can't talk highly enough about the future. I'm really excited.
Well, I'm excited too for you. It's an absolute pleasure. I like talking to you about this. I think we've got plenty of information out here, and I'm sure all the musicians browsing through your page will be able to get a good insight of just how much experience and how good quality you do offer in terms of your production and your songwriting.
Thank you very much.
Your beat making. So yeah, I'd just like to say thank you again. Have you got anything else that you might want to add?
Yeah, so if you can, join my Instagram, Garufi Music Group. Join that. That's my Instagram. Also hit me up through DM on there. You can also hit me up on Facebook, just with my name, Mathew Garufi, spelt Matthew with 2 T's. Garufi. You can DM me on there as well if you want to know more. And look out for the future. Exciting things to come.
Thank you. So yeah, again, that's Mathew Garufi. He has Garufi Music Group on Achieve Music on our Horror Studio page. You can book him in Petersham in Sydney. And it's definitely recommended that you go to him. So yeah, so Achieve Music is the place to discover and be discovered. And thank you, Mathew. I look forward to seeing what comes.
Thank you. Fantastic, Mitchell. Thank you very much. And thanks everybody for your time. Thank you.
Thanks, mate.